Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party and invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. Hello, everyone. I'm Ghislaine, and welcome to our Scintillating Showcase and Open Mic Night, part of our live and virtual series with Intervision Entertainment and My Aloha TV. So, last show, I emphasized, as I often do, that it's pronounced Ghislaine, not Ghislaine, as in the alleged sex trafficker. And some folks reached out after the show. Curious, if I get tired of people bringing up Ghislaine Maxwell whenever they learn my name. Yes, I do. I mean, I don't want to be associated with her. She's an alleged sex trafficker and obviously not a good one, being caught and all. I mean, not that a successful one is better morally, but if someone becomes famous for something really wretched, I feel like being able to use the word accomplished in describing their deeds almost lowers the shame factor for those of us associated by name. They were a horrible person, but at least they were good at it. So after the show, I was also asked if I ever considered going by a nickname or a different name with all of this going on. And first of all, I'd like to say, excuse me, a different name? I don't think so. I identify with my name. Ghislaine is who I've been my entire life. And I'm certainly not changing my name because some alleged sex trafficking cow came along. If anything, she should change her name. Well, at least until found innocent. I mean, if someone has to do it, I'm sure I speak for the Ghislaines, the Ghislaines, and the Ghislainas everywhere when I say it's not us, it's her. But more importantly, I've been working at getting the English-speaking world to pronounce my name correctly my entire life. And as soon as I even take on a nickname, that's it. I mean, it's going to be game over and I've lost. And I don't accept defeat. I'm here to win this battle, to make Ghislaine famous for all of the right reasons. Don't get me wrong, Ghislaine Maxwell is a bit of a setback. I mean, in terms of getting a person to pronounce my name correctly, well, as well as other things. But it's also a small win because I get tired of having the exact same conversation whenever I'm introduced to someone. I mean, finally, when I meet a new friend, the first thing we talk about is no longer the fact that they've never heard my name before, because they've heard it all right. Now, we talk about whether or not I like my name associated with an alleged sex trafficker. We have a fantastic show for you tonight. The theme this week is Friendsgiving, which is mostly an excuse to talk about friendship and food. A quick reminder before we begin, please mute yourself while the performances are happening so we don't get any stray sounds wandering in. And just because you're muted doesn't mean you can't give us a little comments of encouragement in our chat. In fact, it's surprising, but performers really love a good compliment. I know. So please type and send those accolades our way. And now I'd like to introduce my co-host and dear friend, Sadie.
Hey guys. So I guess we're doing this thing. I have a joke for you.
Okay, bring it, girl.
Yeah. So what did the carrot say to the cucumber on their 5th anniversary as friends?
What did the carrot say to the cucumber on their 5th anniversary as friends?
Let us celebrate.
All right. So take it away, Sadie.
Okay. I hope you guys will forgive me. I'm in a bit of a mood tonight, and well, someone in this room knows why. I won't say who, but it might be my co-host. It might not be my co-host. I don't know. So I have a little something to sing for her. That's right, I heard the story over and over again. Gee, it's swell to finally meet her other friends. That's right, I heard the story, don't really like how it ends. Gee, it's swell to finally meet her other friends. What did she say about me? What did she say? What did you do without me? What did you do? Did you play games without me? What did you play? Did you think all this time that I wouldn't find out about you? Oh, that's right, I heard the story over and over again. Gee, it's swell to finally meet her other friends. Oh, that's right, I heard the story over and over again. Gee, it's swell to finally meet her other friends.
Who even are you tonight?
Just how could you even ask me that? I mean, who am I? Who am I? What are you even saying? I'm the loser of the game you didn't know you were playing. Let's play another game. This time I get to win. Lives on the line, winner takes all. Ready or not, let's begin. Oh, that's right, I heard the story over and over again. Gee, it's swell to finally meet her other friends. Oh, that's right, I heard the story. Don't really like how it ends. Gee, it's swell to finally meet her other friends.
Oh, well, that was lovely, although not in your usual temperaments. Is everything
Yeah, well,
okay?
it's just like I can't believe what you did, and I can't believe that you don't know why I'm so upset.
But I don't know why you're so upset. Please give me a chance to
Please,
fix it.
Sparkle Booty 46 on Twitter told me all about how you invited everyone but me over for Thanksgiving, and I can't believe I thought we were closer than that. And I know I live far away, but like, how could you? Honestly, how could you?
Oh, honey, I'm not even having a Thanksgiving celebration, and you are more than welcome to join us on Thanksgiving.
Wait, what?
I I don't even know who Sparkle Booty is, although that's a great name.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Well, on that note, let me have you introduce our next guest.
Thank you so much, my darling. Well, next up we have, I think, unless he's not, I think he might have said something in the chat, but we would love to hear something from you, John, if you're ready. Are you here? Where did you go? There you are. Let me add spotlight for you. Hello.
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 Okay.
So before you regale us, as I know you will beautifully, I'd just like to ask you our little artist question of the week. And this week that is, what is your favorite or your personal unique tradition that you do this time of year? Something that not everyone does, maybe.
Well, this is a fairly new tradition, but
This one.
2 weeks ago, I started piping Advent tunes. And as soon as Thanksgiving is over and people will tolerate Christmas tunes on the bagpipes, assuming they tolerate the bagpipes, I will start practicing and performing Christmas tunes on the pipes.
Oh, I love that. That's fantastic. That's such a good one.
Pipes only have 9 notes.
Mm-hmm.
Say there are a lot of tunes I cannot play or they sound weird when I play them. But some people would say that even when I play them correctly, they still sound weird.
Well, I love that. I think that's wonderful. And I'm going to let you take it away. Are you ready to?
I hate something that can be told as a story, but it may or may not be Friendsgiving.
That's all right. We
But
don't mind.
hopefully you will enjoy this.
I have no doubt.
I know that Ghislaine is married, and I suppose some of you are aware of weddings, being married, or planning weddings, or preparing for weddings. Well, almost 2 decades ago, my doctor got married. And my lovely wife and my doctor spent all the time preparing for the wedding. Say, I ended up doing a lot of the other tasks, such as going to the market to buy provisions. And there it was, almost 2 decades ago. I was standing in the checkout lane. And you can probably imagine from the way I talk to y'all that I will talk to just about anybody around me. In fact, I will talk their ears off and listen to them just as much. And by that action, I discovered that the lady just in front of me also had a doctor getting married. In her case, it was the very next day. And this lovely lady was frazzled. She had made her doctor's dress. She had made the bridesmaids' dresses. She had even made her own dress. And the night before I encountered her, her husband came up, her good man, and demanded that she hem his slacks. Now, this lovely but frazzled lady looked at me down her nose in that all men are the same, glared at me and said, "You aren't going to do something like that to your wife." I smiled. I smiled more. And then I said, "Won't be a problem. I'm no wearing pants." The lady almost swooned, her mouth gapped open almost to the floor. When she had somewhat recovered her composure, I smiled again. "I'm wearing the kilt."
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Angus. Sorry, lost my technical there for a minute. Let me see if I can get myself here. Hello. All right. Well, thank you so much. And by the way, can we just get like an ongoing recording of you rolling R's? Whoa.
Actually, that is actually something I learned in Spanish. I really had no concept of how the Scots roll their R's. There are 2 ways to roll an R. One is the Spanish way with the tip of the tongue, and the other is a guttural roll, which the Germans do.
My goodness.
Scots English being an Anglo-Germanic language, it could be the guttural roll. I just didn't can.
It's fantastic. I'm serious. I would listen to a recording of that all day.
Now, I will also say before I sign off that I discovered that a proper Scot, speaking Scots, which is what I tend to talk with, may not roll his R's. The sound of a Scot rolling his R is more typical of those who speak Scots Gaelic.
I love that you say Gaelic. It's
Well,
how I
no
learned how to say
Irish. So I will not say Gaelic.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you again, John. All right, big round of silent Zoom-like applause and snaps. All right. Okay, so next we have my favorite furry pal. His name is Vash, as you know. I love my cat probably more, no, almost as much as I love my husband. That's the correct thing to say. Okay. I'll just say anything for a joke. It's real. Okay, here we go.
Harvest by John Charles McNeill. Cows in the stall and sheep in the fold, clouds in the west deep crimson and gold, a heron's far flight to a roost somewhere, the twitter of kilties keen in the air, the noise of a wagon that jolts through the gloam on the last load home. There are lights in the windows, a blue spire of smoke climbs from the grained grove of elm and oak. The smell of the earth where the night pours to her its dewy libation is sweeter than myrrh. And an incense to toil is the smell of the loam on the last load home.
I love when he's done. Bash is like, and scene.
He's a very human cat.
Just showed up to watch this show.
It's true. So, hey, Sadie.
Hey, Ghislaine.
Did you know that you could have your pet featured on Pet Poetry as well as any poem if you happen to be a writer?
I can?
You can.
Oh my God, how do I do it?
Well, if you email Ghislaine at myaloha.tv, that's Ghislaine at myaloha.tv, you can have your poem submitted to be featured in one of our pet poetry videos. Do you happen to know the answer to the other one?
Well, are you talking about if you have a poem that you'd like to submit or some writing that you'd like to submit?
If you have
Oh, I'm sorry.
a little friend you would like to share with us.
Oh, a little friend. A wee fuzzy friend. Then we email Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would email Ryan, RYAN at myaloha.tv.
I'm still learning.
Oh, I can't believe you forgot about me.
I didn't forget. I just forget which one of you gets emailed when sometimes.
I'm more words, he's more video. And there we go. There you go.
There we go. That's all settled then.
Oh no, are we doing these accents now?
Oh no, it's gonna get real confusing. Okay.
All right, well, I'm going to get out of here so you can introduce our next amazing artist and ask them the special question of the week.
Andy, I'm so excited. So the next person is one of my very favorite people, and she's the person who I've known by far the longest out of anyone in this group, although not well until recently, which is very exciting for me. And she's just the bee's knees. It's Beth Stockton. Hello, darling.
Oh my goodness. So
Oh my goodness.
I just wanted to be cozy, so I'm in my pajamas.
Get it, girl. Be cozy.
So a tradition that I do around this time of year?
Yeah. Or like
well-
just something that's unique that you like to partake
Well, my favorite meal is Thanksgiving dinner. Like that's my favorite thing to eat.
That's a solid choice.
And my signature dish is my stuffing that I make, which is I make it with chicken stock. It's cornbread stuffing, and I put onions, mushrooms, and breakfast sausage in it.
Whew. Okay.
It's like maple breakfast sausage. It's like fucking addictive, and I
That sounds
make it a lot.
amazing.
Not only so here's what I do. I usually do. I don't know if I'm doing it this year. I usually have it 3 times. I usually, not the stuffing, the whole meal. I will like within a couple days though, because 1 day is too much. I'll usually make one for my own household, go to a friend's house because I don't really have family. So I'll go to like a, an orphan Thanksgiving, and then I'll go to a restaurant. Because I love Thanksgiving dinner so fucking much. So anyway,
Get it, girl, that's awesome.
I love it.
I'm gonna let you take it away, gorgeous. I'm very
Okay,
excited.
let's do it.
Yay!
We were randomly so this at work we watch a lot of movies, and yeah, it's kind of weird, but we always have movies on in the background at my work, and we just watched Beaches, which definitely makes me think of friendship. It is sad, but it's cheesy, loving friendship goodness. So we started talking about it at a Zoom reading that we just did a little while ago, and I decided I would just do a little medley. Well, it's not really a medley. It's going to be 2 different songs from Beaches. So, and I'm going to do the funny one first because that's how I feel today. So let's see how it goes. Wait, except I need to fucking start. Excuse my F word. I need to start it again because it wasn't loud enough.
We can't handle it.
I know F words are.
We're very innocent.
Y'all, okay.
I'm teasing you.
All right, I'm sorry to say the F word, but let's see how loud this got. You stupid thing. All right, cool. It should be good now. Titsling, inventor, and Kraut had nothing to get very worked up about. His inventions were failures, his future seemed bleak. He fled to the opera at least twice a week. One night at the opera he saw an Aida, whose bust was so big it would often impede her. Bug-eyed, he watched her fall into the pit, done in by the weight of those terrible tits. Oh my God, there she blows! Aerodynamically, this girl was a mess. Otto eyeballed the diva lying comatose amongst the reeds, and he suddenly felt the fire inspiration flood his soul, and he ran back to his workshop where he futzed and futzed and futzed. For Otto Titsling had found his quest to lift and mold the female breast, to point the small ones to the sky, to keep the big ones high and dry. Every night he'd sweat and snort, searching for the right support. He tried some string and paper clips. Yes, he even tried his own tulips. Well, he stitched and he slaved and he slaved and he stitched until finally one night in the wee hours of morning, Otto arose from his workbench triumphant. Yes, he had invented the world's first over-the-shoulder boulder holder. Hooray! Exhausted but ecstatic, Otto ran out to the diva bearing the prototype in his hot little hand. Now, the diva did not want to try the darn thing on, but after many initial mishaps, she finally did. And the sigh of relief that issued forth from her mouth was so loud that it was mistaken by some to be the early onset of the Saracen winds, which would often roll through the Schwarzwald with a vengeance. But little did Otto know, at the moment of his greatest triumph, lurking under the diva's bed, was none other than the very worst of the French patent thieves, Philip de Brazier. And Phil was watching the scene with a great deal of interest. Later that night, while the Brunhilde slept, into the wardrobe Philippe softly crept. He fumbled through knickers and corsets galore, till he found Otto's titsling and he ran out the door, crying, oh my God, what joy, what bliss. I'm gonna make me $1 million from this. Every woman in the world will wanna buy one. I will have all the goods manufactured in Taiwan. The result of this swindle is pointedly clear. Do you buy a titsling or do you buy a brazier? Okay.
Oh my God. This is amazing.
Thank you. I can't believe I spit that out.
You
That's a lot of
did.
work.
You more than spit it out. You rocked it.
Oh, thank you. I love that song. Okay, so now I'm going to bring it down a little bit and sing a little cheesy song to my friends who are all here. Mwah. Okay, I'm going to sing now. Oh, 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 oh. shadow, to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, and you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. Might have appeared to go unnoticed, that I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Of course I know it. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. I could fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. Did I ever tell you you're my hero? You're everything, everything I wish I could be. Oh, when I could fly higher than an eagle. 'Cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Oh, the wind beneath my wings. Fly, fly, fly away. You let me fly so high. Oh, fly, fly so high against the sky. So high I almost touch the sky. Thank you, thank you. Thank God for you, the wind beneath my wings. Voice crack. Mwah! I love you guys.
Mwah! We love you. Oh my goodness, Beth. You can sing that to me any day. So I have a story with that. I had to sing that song for a graduation at a private school that I was at of four seniors. Yeah.
Wow.
And obviously when you are 14, I think just turned 15, you're not quite as, beautiful as you.
Oh, stop.
Oh my goodness. I was singing with you now. Now I want to sing this as together and harmonize. Mwah. I love
Yes,
it.
yes, please.
Yes, please. All right.
ASAP.
Yes. And now I ejected her because that's what I do. No. So the power of the Zoom spotlight. Mwah. All right. So our next introduction is to someone I find particularly sexy. I don't have any personal bias at all. In fact, I'm
No,
just
not at all.
harassing him at the moment. It is my amazing, my wonderful husband, Mr. Ryan Phillips. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Ghislaine. How are you on this beautiful evening?
Well, I'm pretty darn good. I have a question for you.
What is that question?
What is your favorite uncommon tradition for this time of year?
Ooh, that isn't it. What does one call an uncommon tradition? Because
dear
most of my traditions are uncommon. In
Pick
fact, we share
one,
them all.
man.
Okay. So, well, I'm having to rack my. Normally, I have these questions like right away.
It's
I'm
not a
trying
philosophy question.
to.
It's really not.
Wow.
Just by the
I
way,
think-
welcome to our world. This is what it's like to be in, say, our living room and hang out with us. We have these kinds of conversations at home.
I think actually my main non-traditional holiday tradition is I don't do any traditional holiday things. I typically focus more on my friends and seeing them and seeing people I care about than on any of the trappings of the holiday.
I would say one of the most amusing things you do is you wear a Hanukkah shirt all the way until this time of year.
Oh no, I never wear my Hanukkah shirt during Hanukkah.
Yeah. It's great. Okay. So what do you have for us tonight?
Well, I searched far and wide in my fairy tale series to find one that was traditional and actually had a happy ending. Which, believe it or not, if anybody knows the history of fairy tales, is not easy until Disney gets a hold of them.
Take it away, Ryan.
And so today we're going to go to the East of the Sun and West of the Moon, which is a traditional Norwegian fairy tale written down by Peter Christian Asbjørnsen. East of the Sun and West of the Moon. Once upon a time, there was a poor husband who had so many children, he hadn't had much of either food or clothing to give them. Pretty children they all were, but the prettiest was the youngest daughter, who was so lovely that there was just no end to her loveliness. So one day, I think it was a Thursday, late evening at the fall of the year, the wind was so wild and rough outside, and it was so cruelly dark. The rain fell and the wind blew, till the walls of the cottage shook again. And there they all sat around the fire, busy with this thing or that. And just then, all at once, something gave 3 taps on the window pane. And then the father went out to see what was the matter. And when he got out of doors, what should he see but a great big white bear? Good evening to you, said the bear. Same to you, said the man. Will you give me your youngest daughter? And if you will, I'll make you as rich as you are now poor, said the bear. Well, the man would not have been sorry at all to be so rich, but he thought he must have a bit of a talk with his daughter first, and so he went in and told her how this great white bear was waiting outside, who had given his word to make them so rich, but he only had to give him his youngest daughter. Well, the lassie said no, outright, and nothing he could say would get her to say anything else. So the man went outside to settle with the white bear and said that he should come back next Thursday evening and would get an answer. Meanwhile, he talked his daughter over, telling her of all the riches they would get and how well off she would be herself. And so at last, after she thought better of it and had washed and mended her rags and made herself as smart as she could, was ready to start. And I can't say her packing gave her much trouble, as she really didn't own anything. Well, the Thursday evening came, and the bear came to fetch her, and she got on his back with her bundle, and off they went. So when they had gone a bit of the way, the bear said, "Are you afraid?" "No," she said, and she wasn't. "Well, mind and hold tight to my shaggy coat, and then there's nothing to fear," said the bear. And so she rode a long, long way until they came to a great steep hill. And there on the face of it, the white bear gave a knock, and a secret door opened, and they came to the castle where there were many rooms all lit up, rooms gleaming with silver and gold. And there too was a table laid ready, and all of it was as grand could be. And then the white bear gave her a silver bell, and when she wanted anything, all she had to do was ring it, and she would get it at once. Well, after she'd eaten and drunk and the evening wore on, she got sleepy after her journey and thought she would like to go to bed. So she rang the bell, and she'd scarcely taken hold of it before she came into a chamber where the bed was made. as fair, as white and comfortable as anybody would wish to sleep in, with silken pillows, silken sheets, curtains, and gold fringe. All that was in the room was gold or silver. But when she had gone to bed and put out the light, a man came and laid himself alongside her. That was the white bear, who threw off his bear shape at night. But she never saw him, for he always came after she put out the light and before the day dawned. He was up and off again. So things went on happily for a while, but at last she began to get silent and sorrowful, for she was about all day alone, and she longed to see her mother and her father and her brothers and her sisters. So one day when the bear asked what it was she lacked, she said it was so dull and lonely there, and she wanted to go home to see her father and mother and brothers and sisters. And that was why she was so sad and sorrowful, because she couldn't get to them. Well, well, said the bear, perhaps there's a cure for this after all. But you must promise me one thing, not to talk alone with your mother, but only when the rest are by to hear, for she will take you by the hand and try and lead you into a room alone to talk. But you must mind and not do that, or else you will bring bad luck on both of us. Well, so one Sunday, the white bear came and said now, and they set off to see her father and her mother. And once they started off, she was sitting on her back, and they went far and long. And at last they came to a grand house, and there were her brothers and sisters running out of doors at play. And so everything was pretty, and it was a joy to see. This is where your father and mother live now, said the white bear. And don't forget what I told you, or else you will make us both unlucky. No, she said, and bless her, she did not forget. When she reached the house, the white bear turned right about and left her. And then when she went in to see her mother and her father, there was such joy, and there was no end of it. None of them could thank her enough for what she had done. And now that they had everything she wished and as good could be, all they wanted to know was how she got on where she lived. Well, she said it was very good to live where she lived. She had all she wished, and what she said she didn't know. But I don't think any of them had the right to stick it, or how much they knew of her. That makes no sense, and I'm sorry about that. But so in the afternoon, after they had done dinner, all happened as the white bear had said, and her mother wanted to talk to her alone in the bedroom. But she minded what the white bear said and would not go upstairs. Oh, what we will talk about we will keep, she said, and put her mother off. But then, somehow or another, her mother got round her at last, and she told her the whole story. And so she said how every night when she had gone to bed, a man came and lay down beside her as soon as she put out the light, and how she never saw him because he was always up and away before the morning dawn, and how she went about woeful and sorrowing, for she thought how she would so like to see him, and how all day long she walked there alone, and how dull and dreary and lonesome it was. My, said her mother, it may well be a troll you slept with, but I shall teach you a lesson on keeping eyes on him. I will give you a bit of candle, which you can carry home in your bosom, and just light it when he's asleep, but take care not to let a drop of the tallow fall upon him. Yes! She took the candle, she hid it in her bosom, and as night drew on, the white bear came and fetched her away. But when they had gone a bit of the way, the white bear asked if all hadn't happened as he said. Well, she couldn't say that it hadn't. Now mind, he said, if you have listened to your mother's advice, you have brought bad luck upon both of us. And then it will be as all that passed between us will be as nothing. And so she said, oh, I haven't listened to her mother's advice. So when she reached home and had gone to bed, it was the old story over again. There came a man to lie down beside of her, and in the dead of night, when she heard him slept, she got up and she struck a light and lit the candle and let the light shine upon him. And what she saw was the loveliest prince that anyone has ever set eyes upon. And she fell so deeply in love with him on the spot that she thought as if she could not live if she didn't give him a kiss there and then. And as she did so, but as she kissed him, she dropped 3 hot drops of tallow upon his shirt, and he woke up. Oh, what have you done? He cried. Now, what have you done? He cried. Now you have made us both cursed. For had you but held out 1 year, I would have been freed. For I have a stepmother, the queen of trolls, who has bewitched me. For now I am a white bear by day and a man by night. But now all ties are snapped between us, and I will be taken from you to her. She lives in a castle which stands east of the sun, west of the moon, and there too her daughter is a princess. And now she is the wife I must now have. She wept and she took ill, but there was no help of it, for he could not stay. Then she asked if she might go with him, but no, she could not. Tell me the way then, she said. I will search you out, and that I shall get leave to do so. Yes, she might do that, he said, but there is no way to that place. It lies east of the sun and west of the moon, and thither you shall never find your way. So the next morning she woke up, and both the prince and the castle were gone. And there she lay in a little green patch, in the midst of a gloomy thick wood, and by her side lay the same bundle of rags she had brought from her home. So when she had rubbed the sleep out of her eyes and wept till she was tired, she set out on her way, and walked many, many days, until she came to a lofty crag. And underneath the crag sat an old hag, who played with a golden apple she tossed about. And here the lassie asked if she knew the way to her prince, who lived with his stepmother in the castle that lay east of the sun and west of the moon, who was to marry this princess. How did you come to know about him? Asked the old hag. Maybe you're the lassie who ought to have had him. And she thought, yes, she was. So it's you, is it? Said the old hag. Well, I know about him, he is. He lives in a castle that is east of the sun and west of the moon, and thither you'll come, late and never. But still you may have loan of my horse, and you can ride him to my next neighbor. Maybe she'll tell you when you get there, and just give the horse a pat on the left ear, and beg him to be off home. Stay, this golden apple you may take with you. So she got upon the horse, and rode a long, long time, until she came to another crag, on which sat another old hag, guarding a golden carding comb. Here the lassie asked if she knew the way to the castle that lay east of the sun and west of the moon, and she answered like the first hag. She knew nothing about it, except that it was east of the sun and west of the moon. And thither you'll never come, late or never, but you shall have loan of my horse to get to the next neighbor, and maybe they'll tell you more about it. And when you get there, just touch the horse under the left ear and beg him to come home. And the old hag gave her the golden comb, that she might find some use for it. And so the lassie got upon the horse and rode far, far away. In weary time she came to another great crag, where sat another old hag, spinning a golden spinning wheel. And she went through the same story again, with much the same result. Until finally the old hag said, maybe it's you who ought to have the prince. And yes, it is, she replied. But she too didn't know the way any better than the other two. East of the sun, west of the moon, she knew, but that was all. Thither you'll come, later never. I'll lend you my horse, and I'll have you ride to the east wind and ask him. Maybe he knows those parts and can blow you thither. But when you get to them, only pat the horse under the left ear and have him come home to me. And so she too gave her golden spinning wheel, saying, maybe you'll find use for it, said the old hag. And again she rode many days before she came to the east wind's house. But at last she did reach it, and she asked the east wind to tell her where her prince was dwelt, east of the sun and west of the moon. Yes, the east wind had often heard of it, and the prince in the castle, but he couldn't tell the way, for he had never blown that far. But if you will, I will take you to my brother the west wind, and maybe he knows, for he is much stronger, and so if you will get on my back, I will carry you thither. And he did just that. However, when they arrived, the story was the same. Nay, said the west wind, I have never blown so far, but if you will, I will go with you to our brother, the south wind, for he was much stronger than either of us. And it repeated, until they traced to the home of the north wind. And so when they got to the north wind's house, he was wild and crossed. Cold puffs came from him a long way off. Blast you both, what do you want? He roared out to them when they were far off, so they were struck with an icy shiver. Well, said the South Wind, you needn't be so foul-mouthed, for I am here, your brother the South Wind, and this lassie, who ought to have the prince who dwells in the castle, east of the sun and west of the moon. And now she wants to ask you if you were ever there, if you can tell her the way, for she would be so glad to find him again. Yes, I know where it is, said the North Wind. I once in my life blew an aspen leaf thither, but I was so tired I couldn't blow even a puff for several days. If you wish to go thither and aren't afraid to come with me, I'll take you on my back and see if I can blow you all the way. Yes, with all her heart, she must go, and would go if it was possible to go any way at all. For fear, however madly he went, she would not be at all afraid. Very well, said the North Wind. You must sleep here tonight, for we'll have the whole day before us if we were to go thither at all. And so they took off. The North Wind woke her, puffed himself up, and blew himself out, made himself so stout and big 'twas gruesome to look upon him. And so they were off, high, high in the air, as if they would never stop until they got to the world's end. And down below them there was such a storm. It blew long tracts of wood and many houses. It tore down houses and trees and swept across the great seas. Ships were foundered by the hundreds. And so they tore on and on. No one believed how far they went. And all the while all they could see was sea. The North Wind got more and more weary. So out of breath he could scarcely keep puff, and his wings drooped and dropped, until at last they sank so low the crest of the waves dashed upon his heels. Are you afraid? Asked the North Wind. No, she replied. And she wasn't. They weren't very far from land, and the North Wind still had so much strength left him that he managed to throw her onto the shore under the windows of the castle which lay east of the sun and west of the moon. But he was so weak and worn he had to stay and rest for many days before he could go back home again. The next morning, the lassie sat down under the castle window and began to play with the golden apple. And the first person she saw was the woman who might, well, actually, the troll who might have the prince. What do you want for your golden apple, you lassie? Said the princess up in the window. It's not for sale for gold or money, said the lassie. If it's not for sale for gold and money, what is it you will sell it for? You may name your own price, said the troll princess. Well, if I may get to the prince who lives here and spend the night with him, you shall have it, said the lassie whom the North Wind had brought. Yes, that can be done, was the answer to her surprise. And so the princess got the golden apple. And when the lassie came to the prince's bedroom at night, he was fast asleep, and she called to him, and she shook him, and all the while she wept and could not wake him. The next morning, as soon as daybreak, the troll princess came and drove her out again. So at daytime, she sat under the window and began to card with her golden comb. And the same thing happened. The princess asked what she would want for it. She said it was not for sale. She named her price, and again, she could not wake her prince. On the third day, she sat down again under the castle window and began to spin her golden spinning wheel, and that too the troll princess wanted to have. The lassie had set her price twice, and her price for the third night was the same. Yes, she might do that and be welcome. But now you must know that some folks had not been carried off. And as they sat in their room, which was next to the prince, they heard how a woman had been there and wept and prayed and called to him 2 nights running. And they told the prince. And that evening, when the princess came with her drink, the prince made as if he drank it, but actually threw it over his shoulder because he could guess it was a sleeping potion. So when the lassie came, she found her prince wide awake, and she told him the whole story of how she had come thither. Ah, said the prince, you've come just in the nick of time, for tomorrow shall be our wedding day. But now I won't have her. You are the only woman in the world who can set me free. We shall have this night, but you must flee before dawn, and I will be dead by my own hand in the morning. No, she replied. You'll say you've sworn to marry only she who completes your challenge, and beg her to wash the wedding shirt, which has the 3 small spots of tallow on it. She'll agree, for she does not know it's I who put them there. But this is work only for working folk, and such a patch of trolls. You know they'll never be able to do it, and you shall say you will take no other bride but the woman who washes them out, and then ask me to do it. And so there was great joy and love between them that night. But the next day, when the wedding was to be, the prince said, "First, you must know that I have sworn only to marry she who meets my challenge. I have a fine shirt that is my wedding shirt, but somehow or other there are 3 spots of tallow on it, and I must wash it out, or I must have it washed out, and I have sworn I will only marry the woman who is able to do that. Will you accept this oath and honor this pact?" Well, that was no great thing, they said, and readily agreed. "Yes," cried the troll queen with all her heart. And the princess began to wash away as hard as she could, and the more she rubbed and scrubbed, the bigger the spots grew. "Ah," said her mother, "you can't do it, let me try," and pushed her daughter out of the way. But she hadn't long taken the shirt, and it got even worse. With all her rubbing and wringing and scrubbing, the spots grew bigger and blacker and darker, and uglier was the shirt. Then all the other trolls began to wash, and the longer it lasted, the blacker the shirt grew, until at last looked as if it was just pulled from a chimney. "Ah," said the prince, "I am truly sorry. Does anyone else wish to try?" At this point, the young woman stepped forward. "Can you wash this shirt clean, lassie?" he said. "I don't know, but I think I can," she said. And almost before she had taken it and dipped it into the water, it was as white as the driven snow, whiter still. "Yes, you are the one for me," said the prince. And at that, the troll queen flew into such a rage, she exploded on the spot, and the princess after her, and the whole pack of trolls after her. At least, I've never heard a word from them, and that is the story the two are keeping to. As for the prince and princesses, they set all the poor folk who had been carried away and shut away, they set them all free, and they took them with them all the silver and gold, and flitted with them to the castle that lay east of the sun and west of the moon. The end.
Woohoo! Oh my god, that was awesome.
Yeah, exploding
Hey,
trolls.
Well done, sir. Oh my goodness, I love it. All right, well, have you all ever heard the phrase starving artist? Yeah, we're hungry. Do you wonder how we survive? Because I wonder sometimes. Well, you can help make our podcasts, such as Scintillating Stories, Pet Poetry, Popular Person Problems, etc., happen by supporting our Patreon, which you can find the link to in the chat in just a moment. And yeah. Do I have anything else to? I think that's it. Oh, she's muted. You're muted, darling.
Oh, I was like, eject.
Eject. And Sadie out.
And scene. All right. That link can be found in the chat. Thank you so much for that wonderful announcement. All right. Our next performer is absolutely fabulous in more than one art form. I already know them as an opera singer, a modern singer, and a burlesque performer. Please, everyone, welcome the fantastic, the amazing Chrissy McKay. Hello. Is it Mackie or McKay? Mackie. Of course I got it wrong. I never do that right in the first try.
It's fine. I do it all the time.
So I have a question for you. You've heard the question going around. What is your favorite uncommon tradition during this time of year?
I don't really have any that I can think of. I mean, other than we make everything from scratch for Thanksgiving, like everything from scratch because of my allergies and such. So
I understand. And honestly, you're right. That's very uncommon.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know Ken actually makes the green bean casserole every year because he's figured out a way to do everything, including the cream of mushroom soup, from scratch. So he does the French fried onion bits from scratch, everything from scratch. So
I might be drooling a little bit.
Okay, you're allowed.
So what have you got for us tonight, darling?
Well, people who were at the Thursday karaoke thing has already heard the song. So it's the same song from them. It's called Zhiravli. It's a Russian song. And if I talk too much about it before I sing it, I'm going to start crying.
Got it. Well, then I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to give you the spotlight and tell you it is worth the encore.
When I'm done with the song, then I'll explain it and then tell a story. Мне кажется, порою, что солдаты с кровавых непредшедшие поле не в землю нашу полегли когда-то, а превратились в белых журавлей. Они се порствим летят и подают нам голоса. Не побуду так часто и печально. Мы замолкаем, глядя в небеса. Летит по небу клин устали, летит в тумане на исход дня, и в том строю есть промежуток малый. Быть может, это место для меня. Настанет день и журавлиной стае. Я поплыву той же из мглы. Из-под небес по птичьи окликая всех вас, кого оставил на земле. Мне кажется порою, что солдаты с кровавых не пришедшие поле не в землю нашу полегли когда-то, а превратились в белых журавлей.
I'm fine.
Yeah, we're good. It's fine.
Oh, just wait till you hear what it is in English.
Yeah, no, I read the translation. It's fine. We're fine.
Yeah,
It's cool.
it is a very, very moving song for those of you who haven't seen the translation. Basically, it's talking about the soldiers who died in World War II, rather than being put into the earth, became white cranes.
Yeah.
And that's why we stop and look at the sky.
It's beautiful. It actually reminds me of a piece I did in choir when I was in high school that was about the Yugoslavian refugee children back in the 90s, and it was called Prayer of the Children, and it had a similar kind of
Yeah.
when the singing sounds like crying, it's just devastating in the best way. It's so beautiful. So thank you so much for that. And did you have something else for us, or is it just that this evening?
It's kind of in the same vein as the song, so I'm sorry.
Fantastic. Yeah, go for it. Take it away.
I had 2 uncles during World War II. Well, I had more than 2, but in this case, there were 7 members of my grandmother's family who went off to fight in World War II. And of the 7, only 2 did not return. And they happened to be her 2 unmarried brothers. There was Uncle Clarence, who was killed in the Battle of the Bulge. And then there was Uncle Jess, and we could never figure out what happened to him. My grandmother insisted until she died that he was still alive somewhere. It wasn't until many years later that my mother was like, oh no, they told us what happened. I'm like, oh really? Because Nanny didn't know, apparently. Or she just didn't believe it or whatever, because Jess was her favorite brother. So as I was doing my research on my family tree, what turned out happening was my Uncle Jess was 28, I believe, when he enlisted. And he was put into a supply troop from Pennsylvania who were stationed in Northern Africa. However, he is not in any of the documentation that they have of that troop being in Northern Africa. Like, they have pictures of everybody from this troop. He is not in that. So I'm like, okay, where's my uncle, you know, kind of thing. And he has 2 death dates. They are, I think, 3 months apart. So that was weird. And I was like, I wonder why he has 2 death dates. And it took a lot of digging. And I came across this manuscript from the 1970s. It was meeting minutes from the survivors of the Bataan Death March. And in it, they listed everybody who was on the death march and if they were still alive or dead. And in there was my uncle. He had passed away, not on the march. He made it all the way through the march. They went to 2 different camps. So it's like the Bataan March took them to the first camp. I don't remember what the name of the camp was. And then the people who were still healthy and well and whatever were moved to a second camp further out. And that's where my uncle ended up. And he was there for a while. And we found out that he had 2 death dates, because one was a he's for sure dead kind of a date. And the other one was when they lost contact with him, because he was a prisoner of war, missing in action kind of a thing. And it took a very long time. And Jess was, like I said, my grandmother's favorite brother, because he just didn't care about anything. She used to tell me all these different stories about him, and he was apparently a womanizer, and just all these different things. And he had plans to marry this girl, which everybody thought was bizarre that he would get married, because he was just such, you know, a philanderer, I guess. But he had plans to marry her when he came back from the war. So obviously that didn't happen. But my grandmother remained friends with her for like the rest of her life. So I thought that was really cool. But Jiravi actually means something to me because I have the 2 brothers who did not make it back from World War II. And that's it.
Oh, wow.
That is the coolest thing ever. I love, you have really good family stories. And I also have to say, like, this is a story that we told as an aside, but it pertains because Ghislaine mentioned your burlesque performing, and that you perform under the name of Lavinia, which I know you said is because you had a family member whose first and middle name were Sarah Lavinia, which is my first and middle name, which is super weird.
Not that common.
Not really at all. I mean, the first one, yeah, but Lavinia, not so much.
Lavinia is definitely a family name. I mean, it's like it was my great grandmother and like I think her mother's as well. It was like she was Sarah Lavinia, her mother was like Lavinia Sarah or something like that.
Yeah, that's so wild. I mean, it is their old names, so I guess it makes sense, but that's so cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Well,
once
thank
again,
you
I'd
so
like
much.
to point out how calm Chrissy's cats always are.
Unless I'm trying to sing something really high, then they
Yeah.
get
Even then, for cats that normally like would be like, oh my God, they're like stretch up first before running out the door. They don't necessarily dart, in pure fear or anything of a high note. They are pretty comfortable with what you do. It's awesome. They appreciate your beautiful voice.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to get myself out of here too so you can introduce our next friend.
Well, next up is just my brother from another. We met early on in this quarantine doing all these crazy theater things, and I'm so grateful for him. It's Denny Fowler. How you doing, gorgeous?
Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, gorgeous. Well, did you want to tell us about your favorite unique tradition of yours before we
Oh gosh.
dive in?
Normally this time of year I run around rehydrating my mother's turkey because she tends to dry it out a little bit.
You're on basting duty?
I am on basting duty because she is not. However, my new favorite tradition is scooping up the leftover stuffing or dressing, depending on how you want to call it. Filling if you're a Pennsylvania person, and scooping it into an ice cream scoop, rolling it into a little ball, and air frying it, and then covering it with homemade cranberry sauce that's been loosened up a little bit with a little bourbon. Yes.
Stuffing fritters.
Stuffing fritters with boozy dressing. Yeah.
That sounds fabulous. Oh my goodness. And what do you have for us tonight, my magnificent chefy queen?
Tonight I've got 2 poems by another queen, W.H. Auden.
Yay! Take it away, gorgeous.
Yes. The first is a Thanksgiving. When prepubescent, I felt that moorlands and woodlands were sacred. People seemed rather profane. Thus, when I started to verse, I presently sat at the feet of Hardy and Thomas and Frost. Falling in love altered that. Now someone, at least, was important. Yeats helped. So was Graves. Then, without warning, the whole economy suddenly crumbled. There to instruct me was Brecht. Finally, hair-raising things that Hitler and Stalin were doing forced me to think about God. Why was I sure they were wrong? Wild Kierkegaard, Williams, and Lewis guided me back to belief. Now as I mellow in years and home in a bountiful landscape, nature allures me again. Who are the tutors I need? Well, Horace, adroitest of makers, Beaking in Tivoli and Gotha, devoted to stones, who guessed that he never could prove it. Newton led science astray. Fondly, I ponder you all. Without you, I couldn't have managed even my weakest of lines. That was a Thanksgiving.
Wow. Okay,
I
everyone,
love that.
stop making me feel the feels, okay? I come here to ignore feels. No, that's not true. We actually created this theme so that we could have all the good feels.
All the good feels.
All the good feels. Do you have any more feels for us?
Yes, I have one more feel. Ooh, oh my.
I don't know why. I'm like, I'll say it before I filter it. I just want to make that clear that the words come out of my mouth and then I say, oh.
Did I say that?
It's true. All right, let me give you back that spotlight, Lovey.
Fabulous. The next one is for friends only. On this Friendsgiving, ours yet not ours, being set apart as a shrine to friendship. Empty and silent most of the year, this room awaits from you what you alone, as visitor, can bring. A week end of personal life. In a house backed by orderly woods, facing a tractored, sugar-beet country, your working hosts engaged to their stint. You are unlike to encounter dragons or romance, were drama a craving you would not have come. Books we do have for almost any literate mood, and no paper, envelopes for a writing one. To borrow stamps is a mark of ill breeding. Between lunch and tea, perhaps a drive. After dinner, music or gossip. Should you have troubles, pets will die. Lovers are always behaving badly. And confession helps. We will hear it, examine, and give our counsel. If to mention them hurts too much, we shall not be nosy. Easy at first. The language of friendship is, as we soon discover, very difficult to speak well. A tongue with no cognates, no resemblance to the gallimatias of nursery and bedroom, court rhyme, or shepherd's prose. And unless spoke too often, soon goes rusty. Distance and duties divide us, but absence will not seem an evil if it make our re-meeting a real occasion. Come when you can. Your room will be ready. In Tuntum's reign, a tin of biscuits on the bedside table provided for nocturnal munching. Now weapons have changed and the fashion and appetites. There, for sunbathers who count their calories, a bottle of mineral water. Felicissima notte. May you fall at once into a cordial dream, assured that whoever slept in this bed before was also someone we like, that within the circle of our affection, also you have no double.
Oh my goodness. I love that. If you
That
wouldn't
cheeky
mind,
bugger is so verbose.
I really verbose, and I feel like especially having dived more into poetry recently than I ever have before, I'm learning how much poetry is not as descriptive as it should be, even if it's famous, and that those writers actually wrote a few really good poems, but wrote like 100 poems, most of which have none of that. And um you know, you don't always think about that in school. You're busy learning this person did this person did, they're great, they're great, they're great, and you don't really realize, oh, but they may have only had this, a few number of impactful things. And it reminds me that as artists, that's why we do exactly like what we're doing tonight, so that we just keep doing the art, because every now and then that golden egg happens. And you just gave me ideas, Denny. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh,
Big love to you all.
love to you. All right, now for another announcement. So, are you a writer? Do you know one? Someone who writes short stories, plays, pretty much anything that has a beginning, middle, and end. It isn't porn. Intervision Entertainment is currently accepting submissions for our Scintillating Stories series, where we convert short stories, plays, and other writings into podcast format to be performed live, as well as recorded and displayed online for the world to discover. If you have a story or script you'd like to hear scintillated, please submit them to me, Ghislaine, at myaloha.tv.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat for y'all. Well, next up, we have a dreamy, dreamy songster. Is that the songstress? Is that the boy version? I don't know. It's Frances. Are you with us, darling? Are you ready to join us? Oh no, I ended up on somebody else. Where are you?
Hello?
There you are, darling. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm
You're
doing
looking
okay.
fabulous as always.
Yeah. What's up? How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're friendsgiving it
So,
up.
I made it. I'm a
You
little late.
made
Sorry,
it.
but
It's
I'm
okay,
here
dude.
now.
We're always happy to-
There's always that one person that shows up late. I'm that one person.
Yeah, but they're always welcome and the party starts when they arrive, so it's fine. Did you want to share with us? We're all talking about our favorite unique traditions that we have this time of year.
So it's like it used to be that we used to go to my aunt's house in San Bernardino. And like it's always her house because like she's got like the biggest house and we do like the biggest parties, and we always have the lechon, the Filipino food. I'm Filipino, if you didn't notice.
I gathered context clues.
So yeah, we have the lechon. We don't really. I mean, we do have turkey, but like my favorite part is having lechon at my aunt's house because I don't know what it is. Like if I have lechon in like a different restaurant, it tastes good, but it's not the same. It's like,
of course, it's like grandma. It's like, yeah, when tia or grandma or whoever makes it.
There's something extra special about like the lechon every year at my aunt's house in San Bernardino. So I think
absolutely, that's wonderful. Yeah. And what did you have for us this evening, my darling?
Well, okay, yeah. So like Friendsgiving, like Thanksgiving, I couldn't find a lot of songs with the word Thanksgiving in it.
I didn't even try, so the fact that you tried is
I really tried. That may or may not be a reason why I'm a little late. But I was like, okay, like Thanksgiving and like the emotions of Thanksgiving, and it's like, oh, like Thanksgiving and like joy and like Christmas, and it's it's like kind of like all encompassing. So it's
absolutely
like Thanksgiving and it's like joyful. So like I made that connection. So it's so here I am, and I'm gonna sing a little joyful from Sister Act 2.
I hoped you were gonna say that. Oh my god, I'm so hyped. Take it away.
I'm trying to drag it out for drama, but you guys
are you gonna do the dance?
No, I'm not. Okay, I did not have time.
I'm so kidding.
No, I would, but I just didn't have the time to, because this is no rehearsal.
You're amazing. I'm thrilled. This is gonna be great.
We're just gonna see what happens.
Yes. Take it away, baby.
Yeah, I forgot to cue it up, but
that's okay.
Here, I think we're loading. It's yeah. Okay. Here we go. Can you hear it? Joyful, joyful, Lord, we adore thee. God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfurled like flowers before thee. Hail thee as the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness. Drive the dark or doubt away. Give up immortal gladness. Fill us with the light of faithfulness. With the love, fill us with the light of day. Joyful, joyful, adore thee. God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts so full like flowers before thee. Hail thee as the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness. giver of immortal gladness. Fill us with the light of day, light of day. Joyful, joyful, Lord, we adore thee. And in my life, I put none before thee. Cause since those boys a youngster, I came to know that you was the only way to go. So I had to grow and come to know and understanding that I'm down with the king, and now I'm demanding that you tell me who you down with, see. Cause all I know is I'm down with G-O-D. Who's down with G-O-D? You down with G-O-D? Who down with G-O-D? Charlie Cross, the mighty, mighty cross, which the morning stars bring out. The rising over. Right away, what have you done for him lately? Ooh, yeah. What have you done for him lately? He watches over everything, so it's joyful, joyful, Lord, we adore thee. God of glory, Lord of life, hearts are full like flowers before thee, heavy as the sun above, melt the clouds out. Sin and sadness, drive the darker doubt away. Drive it away, give her all the immortal gladness. Fill us with the light of day, Lord, fill us. Oh, we need you, yes we do, fill us. Hey, oh yeah. Fill us with the light of day, Lord, fill us. Lord, we need you, come right away, we need you, I need you to stay, we need you, I need you to stay. Fill us, fill us, fill us, fill us with the light of day, light of day.
That was awesome.
That was the run through, but like that was.
I'm so happy.
I think that's a cut and print. I know it's not all perfect, but there's some moments in there.
Finding out if you have food sensitivity.
Oh, she's late. We can hear that.
That's
right.
not me.
Oh,
No,
what?
That
Oh,
was
there's
me,
noises.
that my track went on to an.
That
app.
was some YouTube-ness.
Yeah. No, yeah, we're on YouTube.
Yup. So speaking of YouTube prompts, do you have another song for us tonight?
I'm gonna need a minute to gather it together.
I'll tell you what, Francis, you know what we all say in this business, always leave them wanting more. We actually don't have much of a show left after this, so we're gonna wrap it up and beg to come and have you back.
Yeah, no, I think I don't have anything else. I'm out.
Francis out.
That's okay. We love you. Come on back.
That's right. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm late. I always try to be on time, but you know, like I'm here.
It's okay. We love you.
Yeah, I love you guys too. You guys are so much fun for me.
Oh my gosh, seriously, I live for this.
Yeah.
If I didn't have these performances and all this cray going on, I think I would already have lost what is left of my mind.
Yeah, it would get real dark in here.
Yeah, yeah, real dark.
Yeah.
So it's about time you and I asked each other the questions. But before that, do you have a bad dad joke?
Oh, well, I think maybe I might.
How could you really use one? I don't know why I picked this voice, but that's what I'm saying.
I like it. I kind of like it. Well, do you know why trees are such good why trees are so good, rather, at making friends?
Why are trees so good at making friends?
Because they're not afraid to branch out, man. I think that voice dramatically improved that joke, actually.
Yeah, I think we should remember this. Do bad dad jokes with weird accents.
Yeah, well, that almost felt like a Dr. Teeth moment we were having. Yeah, baby.
Yeah. I forget I can do
golden teeth and golden toes. Hey.
Hey, baby.
All right. Well,
Should we start with you or
so
you?
Ghislaine,
Mm.
I want to start with you, babe. What's your favorite unusual or unique tradition that you partake in this
It's
time
one
of year?
I don't actually partake in anymore. And once again, I apologize to my mother-in-law for what I'm about to say. So my favorite tradition was actually originally named Friendsgiving by another friend, where we were all invited as friends. And all of the dishes had to be made from cannabis. Not really. We had the cannabis labeled and the non-cannabis labeled. We're not actually trying to get anybody to do things they
But
don't want to do.
like a lot of recipes included
Oh,
that.
like roasted turkey with, but the thing is that everyone was quite a connoisseur. They're not necessarily like stoners like that. They are people who
Yeah,
want
no,
to
they
roast the turkey with the right flavored, strain. And then I made
Ooh,
a sour
girl.
cream dip that is just to die for from Keef. And and so we had so many.
You're talking dirty.
And
Sounds amazing.
well, and what's cool is you're doing it for flavors. So it's not like everything's very potent. Everything just, you put just enough to add the right flavor to it. It was amazing. And I have to say, you got to plan the Uber and the Lyft to go home, but it was worth it. A bunch of friends that had all known each other for years, sharing
Gotta
recipes.
do that anyway. If not that, it's the wine.
Right. Well, I was
You gotta
thinking
find
that.
your way home one way or another.
One year I brought that up. I said, you know what? We probably get less loaded than everyone who drinks all the wine at Thanksgiving.
For real.
To be honest. Well, on that
Can
note,
attest to that. Coming from half of my family being Indian and half being Irish, yes, truth.
I'm looking forward to when my cousins watch this show. So yeah, cannabis Thanksgiving, that happens in America. Anyway, so Sadie, what's your unusual tradition?
My unusual tradition. Well, one of them, I mean, it's kind of it's my whole holiday system is a little weird because my parents split up when I was very, very young, and then both ended up with other people. So there's a lot of different families to attend to.
I
But
understand.
I think my favorite, which has since become a little bit of a rarity, just because my grandma was kind of the one who would spearhead it, was Armenian Thanksgiving, and really Armenian every holiday, which is all the lamb
Yeah,
and
it's
all
just
the rice
lamb.
pilaf.
You should just call it Lamb
It's just
Fest.
lambs. And it's a beautiful thing. And yeah, I think that the thing that was really special to me was that we would kind of take every holiday as an opportunity to celebrate a little bit of our culture.
I feel
Nice.
sorry for vegetarians that are specifically Armenian, not because I feel sorry for vegetarians like you do, you boo, but you live in a culture then which makes
But
the
that
best
lamb.
meat products of all time, because everything that
And the
people
chicken,
like about
the
Greek
chicken
food,
and the lamb.
right? Like if you like
Yeah,
Greek food, well,
same
all
deal.
of that meat stuff is in the Armenian food group, but then so is the Persian, and so is and they do things like make little breads with meat bits on top, and yeah.
Yes, it's
Meat,
called
meat, meat.
lamajun and it's fabulous.
Yes, that. Oh my
Lamajun, it's like Armenian pizza with lamb on top. It's amazing.
Oh, it's so good. I'm hungry now. Okay.
Oh, all right.
So you have another song for us, and this
I
time you're not going to say
do.
mean things to me.
I'm not gonna say mean things.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Take it away.
Well, this time I'm gonna get a little more sincere than I often do, because I love y'all and it's been a wild year, and I'm very, very grateful to have found this crazy little community. And yeah, I just wanted to sing this because it felt like the right tone and the right message. So you think you can tell? heaven from hell, blue skies from pain. Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rain? A smile from a veil. Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? Hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground, and how we found the same old fears. Wish you were here. I love you guys. Thank you.
I believe it's your announcement time.
So lost in the feels that I forgot it was my
like
announcement
making
time.
a face that is the sign that I should be spotlighting on, but no, it's not me.
It's
okay. I love you, and you
well,
make me feels again.
I love you. Well, you know, I had to get genuine since I was so disingenuous at the beginning.
Fair enough.
We did a bit. We started with a bit, so I had to end on a love note because I love you. Well, thank you for watching our scintillating showcase brought to you by Intervision Entertainment. To check out everything we do, you can check out our YouTube channel, My Aloha TV, where you can find even more recordings of scintillating showcases, as well as pet poetry, McGarfield, popular person problems, and scintillating stories. You can also find podcasted recordings on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. I didn't even know that was a thing, Podbean. Please like, subscribe, and share the vision. You can also keep the art alive by becoming a visionary through our Patreon, as I mentioned earlier. You can check for the link in the chat, or if you're watching this on YouTube, the link will be below. And of course, next Sunday, we have another Scintillating Stories live. We will be performing the first half of 9 Ways to Sunday, which is a fantastic play about friendship. And it's a little spooky and fun. And it's by John McKinley. I apologize. I almost forgot. And now, my dearest, darlingest co-host, I believe you have a closing song for us.
I do. I encourage you all to stay on mute, but if you feel inspired to sing along, please do.
I'm going to sing along on mute and I'm going to dance.
It's a version you haven't heard before, I'm guessing.
Ooh.
Sometime in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long, 'cause I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, if you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Ooh, somebody to lean on. Ooh, somebody to lean on. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope that you are staying safe everywhere where you are in the world. Wash your hands, even if this is not 2020 or the pandemic. This can never hurt. And if you are in 2020 and you are out there doing things, please socially distance. Please wear a mask and take care of your friends and family. We love
And
you.
your pets, everybody. We love you.
Love you.